Today we will study about French Revolution, which is in France. Here in 1774 Common Era, Louis XVI, Louis XVI was the king of France. So during his rule, he found his treasury was empty without money. There was no funds with Louis XVI. Total funds and money, what we call money with the government, money with the king was turned to empty. Treasury, in the sense, it is the storehouse of funds with the government. So, how it turned to empty here? The France is the new name to the French. So French was involved in long years of war with England. There was you know competition in expanding the kingdom between Britain and French. So French wanted to expand its kingdom, so it engaged in wars for long years. And another is that one cause is that long years of war. For many years, French was in war. So as it was in a war, its treasury turned to empty because you know much of the expenditure was made by French King Louis XVI on war preparation. That is the first reason. Second reason is maintaining the Versailles Palace, which is in Paris. Versailles, understand? It's a palace. Versailles is a palace. Look at here. I have underlined here. This is Versailles. This is a mirrored palace located in Paris. Very beautiful one. There were some lakhs of workers. Always it was maintained neatly and also decorated. So maintaining the Versailles palaces, King Louis XVI. Louis is the name of the king. So King Louis XVI expended a lot of financial resources. In that way, his treasury become empty instead. So here, Louis XVI also supported the America in getting independence from the Britain. Britain had established 13 colonies in the eastern coast of America. We have studied in the previous class. So America was struggling to get independence from the Britain. So in that war and getting independence to America, their French supported the America by sending its army. In that way, America succeeded and French turned to facing the trouble of financial resources. Instead, there were no financial what to call funds with France instead, because it's waged it was engaged in wars for many years. First reason. Second reason is that lot of financial resources are wasted in maintaining the palace of Versailles. Third is it helped the America, American 13 colonies of America getting independence from the Britain, because Britain was the common enemy for French and also America. Understand? In that way, the French treasury turned to empty. Understand? There was no single NP with a king. Understand? So now the king needed funds for maintaining his palace and to continue his administration and for paying the salaries to the court officials and to the army. Understand? For all these things, he need money. Who need money? Louis XVI, who was the king of France. Understand? So here, the king of the France wanted to impose the new taxes because to raise the funds. Understand? He had to meet his regular expenses, that is maintaining the court, his court officials, court workers, okay, and maintaining the army and to run the government offices. For all these things he need money. Understand? So to get the funds, that is the financial resources, he wanted to raise the new taxes on the people. So for that, there is need to take the permission from the parliament. Understand? So there the question arised that whether the king to be supreme or the parliament to be supreme here, how it started in England. Okay, and in the parliament also there was no equality among the representatives relating to the different social groups. Let us find how was the society and economic conditions of the French society. Understand? So here, French society was divided into the three classes, that what we call three estates in the 18th century. Understand? It is was divided into three estates. In for your understanding, we may call them three classes instead, right? It is first class, second class, third class. Understand? To understand, let me tell you that it is upper class, middle class, and lower class. Okay, such in such a way you have to understand. Okay, so here the French society consisted of three classes, what we call them three estates. Okay, first estate is a community with clergy, that means popes, then bishops, then fathers, uh, who are relating to the church and advocating the religious matter, okay, who are preaching the religious matter about the God. They were in this estate, that what we call first estate clergy. Understand? That is what a church related one. Okay, people relating to the church. Understand? And the second estate, that consisted of a nobility in the sense aristocrats and bureaucrats. What is mean by aristocrat? That is aristocracy. That means rich people in the society. Okay, those who are economically forward and top in the society, they are in this second estate, that is called nobility here. and bureaucratic people also there. That means officials who were who are doing the government job. That means who were assisting to the king in his administration. They were in this nobility. So that is the second estate people. Understand? That is rich members. Understand? So here the first two estates uh, are that is clergy, aristocracy enjoyed certain privileges. These first two estates enjoyed certain privileges. What do you mean by privileges? Some special facilities, some kind of a freedom for them only. Okay, they were given some special status in the society. What was that special status? That is, they were exempted in paying taxes to the state. They were free from paying taxes to the government. Understand? That is called privilege. Third estate people. Third estate people are not exempted here. Such a privilege that first estate and second estate were given, that they had no taxes. They not had to pay taxes. Okay, that means they were not what to call they were sorry they were given freedom from paying taxes to the state, and this freedom was not given to the third estate people. Understand? Third estate people were paying taxes to the state, whereas the first estate and second estate were exempted. That what we call special privileges. Understand? That comes here. Understand? So here we see that these nobles and the feudal lords, they enjoyed other privileges also, some other what to call freedoms. Understand? What to call these include that feudal dues that peasants had to pay to them. Peasants in the sense of farmers who were working on the lands of the landlords, we call feudal lords. So for feudal lords, peasants have to pay their dues. Peasants were also forced to give other services to the feudal lords. What are that other services? That is, feudal lords forced the peasants to work in the houses, in the houses of the feudal lords. Peasants were forced to work in the houses of the feudal lords and in the fields, agriculture fields. Whenever the feudal lords need soldiers to wage war on others, then these farmers or peasants should work like soldiers in the army of the what to call feudal lords. Understand? So your peasants were given services to the feudal lords, like a servant and like a soldier and a servant for building the roads, also for connecting roads from one region to another region. So these were the works of the third estate people. Okay, third estate people were paying taxes to the feudal lords and to the church and to the state. Okay, whereas the first estate, second estate, they were free from paying tax to the State in the sense government, that is to the king. In addition to that, first estate and second estate people were allowed to raise taxes on third estate people. See how was the society, and inequality, injustice prevailed in French society. This was the social conditions of the French society instead. So here church also extracted taxes from the third estate people, that is the peasants. Understand that taxes are called tithes. What is called tithes? Tithe in the sense tenth part. That is what? Tenth part. Understand? It means 1/10th part of of income earned by the peasants should be paid to the church. Suppose if a person is earning 100 rupees, in that 10 rupees should be paid as a tax to the church, which is called here tithes. What we call that is tithes. And this is the tax collected by church from the third estate people, whereas first estate and second estate people were exempted paying tax to the church. Okay. Third estate consisted of big businessmen, here big businessmen, merchants, court officials, lawyers in the first category of third estate, that is subcategory. At the second level, peasants and artisans, and completely at the bottom of the society of third estate consists of small peasants, landless laborers, servants. Understand? So this was the structure of the French society. Understand? Out of total population of the France, peasants were 90 percentage. Understand? And only a small number in the peasants owned some lands of very small size, and 60 percentage of the land was owned by the church. Which land? Cultivable land. Okay, the total cultivable land, out of the total cultivable land, 60 percentage was under the control of a church. Means church was given authority on 60 percentage of the cultivable land, and other rich members of the third estate also given. Whereas the first two estates, that is clergy and aristocracy, they enjoyed this kind of privileges. Understand? In overall, the total population of the France, 90 percentage of the population belongs to peasant community. Understand? It means major part of the French population was with peasants. Only the 10 percentage of the population of the France we find from what you call first estate, second estate. Okay, they are to 10 percentage of the population. 10 percentage of the population. Understand? And third estate, understand, it constitute of 90 percentage. Understand? So majority of the people in the French population is from third estate, the two peasants, small peasants. Understand? This was the structure of the French society. Understand? So peasants were paying taxes to the church from their income. That is called tithes. Okay, and all the members of the third estate have to pay taxes to the state too. To the state too. That means along with church, paying tax to church, they were paying taxes to the state also. That included a direct tax called tally. What is that? Tally. Understand? Tally is a tax directly paid to the state by third estate. Try to understand here. Taxes were paid only third estate people. First estate and second estate people were free from paying taxes. That is the first privilege, right? Second privilege is that first estate and second estate people are allowed to collect taxes from the third estate people. That is second privilege. Understand? Third privilege is that third estate people have to work in the fields of feudal lords. That means free of cost, giving services to the feudal lords. Feudal lords, that means landlords, taking the services of the peasants at free of cost. Okay, that is working in the fields of the feudal lords. Third, fourth one is working as soldiers in the army of the feudal lords. So, in many ways, third estate people were exploited by first estate, second estate, and by the state also. Understand? In addition to these, number of indirect taxes. Tally is a direct tax, and innumerable many indirect taxes were imposed on the daily articles used by the people, that to be paid only third estate. That is a tax on salt. What is it? People have to pay tax when they buy the salt or tobacco. Understand? So third estate only had to pay taxes to meet the financial resources of the state. That means the treasury of the state was filled with the taxes collected from the third estate. Okay. And another thing is that whenever the crops failed, then the sufferings of the third estate people increased very much. There was no freedom to pay taxes to the state when the crops failed. That means though the crops failed, state, that is the king, did not what to call given exemption for the third estate. So third estate people were earning something very little income, and that little income is going in the form of taxes to the church and first estate and second estate and to the state government, that is to the king, right? And how did they meet their needs? The third estate people suffered. They were suffering with these kind of taxes. Okay, so here whenever the crops fail, that increased the problems of the third estate people, what to call in those days. So this is the what to call unequal society was prevailed in French. Understand? So here we looked at around this time, this third estate people were suffering from the first estate, second estate, and from the king. From the third estate people at the middle of 18th century, a new kind of group started originating, which is called a middle class. We call it what a middle class. It is a new social group started in a French society by the 18th century. Understand? This is the middle class group are those people who earned wealth by trading with other countries. That what we call overseas trade. They traded with the other countries and earned huge wealth. Okay, and they also sold the goods, that is woolen goods and silk textiles, and what to call in addition to the merchants and manufacturers, this third estate also consisted of well educated professions, that is lawyers, administrative officials in the middle class group. That means middle class group consisted of merchants, manufacturers, lawyers, administrative officials, and all these are educated people. Understand? So middle class people are educated. They earned wealth through their trade and selling their goods. So these third estate group, that is middle class. Middle class is the group originated from the third estate only. Okay, and so this middle class were inspired by the philosophy of John Locke and Jean Jacques Rousseau. These were the great philosophers of that society in those days. Society, understand? Those were John Locke and Jean Jacques Rousseau. In short, we call Rousseau. Understand? They advocated that society based on freedom and equal laws and opportunities for all. French is a society, right? So in a society, this is a society, my dear students. Okay. So in society, we find a first estate, a second estate, and third estate, right? So in a society, we find all the people have to enjoy equal freedom and they should be exposed to the equal laws, and opportunities should be equal for all in all round development. This is the what to call ideas. This is the idea advocated by John Locke and Jean Jacques Rousseau. Instead, here John Locke, he wrote a book that is called Two Treatises of the Government. This is the book written by John Locke. In that book, John Locke advocated that there the belief that king had absolute rights is wrong. Understand? He wrote something that king is not supreme in the society. He has not come from the heaven, right? My dear students, he has not come from the heaven. The king used to enjoy divine right theory. The king used to say that he got the power from the god to rule the people. So people thought that he was something superior to the rest of the people in the society. But here John Locke stated that a king also a normal person like remaining people. Understand? So the king who is the ruler of a kingdom will not enjoy absolute rights. Understand? There are no absolute powers to the king. Understand? So something he wrote against to the monarch and its absolute rights. That was the what to call principle and advocacy of the John Locke in two treatises of government. Understand? Next, the Rousseau. He also wrote a book called Social Contract. Social Contract is the book written by Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and there he stated that government should work between people and representatives. What is government? Government, you know, here is the people and here representatives there. Between these two people, what is their government? Okay, and how this government works? This government works according to the agreement between people and representatives. Understand? So government should work through representatives according to the people. Understand? So that is called social contract. Understand? In the book Social Contract, he advocated who Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Understand? That is the point here. Inspired the middle class people who emerged in the 18th century as a new class in the French society. Understand? And in the book, another philosopher, that is Montesquieu. Montesquieu, understand? He also one philosopher. He wrote a book called The Spirit of Laws. Okay, and he stated that powers of the government should not be with one person. Powers of the government should be divided between three organs. Understand? How was the power to the king? Right? Let me tell you. Okay. King enjoyed the powers of legislature, the powers of executive, and the powers of judiciary. It means that who was the judge here? King, who used to give judgment. Then who was the what to call leader of the enforcing the laws? That is executive, king itself. And who was the person making laws in the legislature? That the king. So king only enjoyed all the powers. That means legislative powers, executive powers, and judiciary powers. Understand? So whereas here Montesquieu stated that power should not be with only one person. The government power should be divided into three organs. In the book The Spirit of Laws, he stated that there should be division of powers in three organs, that is legislature, executive, and judiciary. This is the what present system of government we are following, and it became the model for the what government which followed in America after getting independence from Britain. Understand? So here American Constitution. Okay, American Constitution guaranteed individual rights to the what to call all the people. The American Constitution and its guarantee of individual rights become one important example for the third state of the French. Means third state people were motivated, inspired by the individual rights. Everybody have individual rights. So these rights are guaranteed to the citizens in America by American Constitution. So taking the example of American Constitution, as it guaranteed freedom to the its citizens. With that, the third estate people motivated and inspired and started a revolt, a change, for a revolt for bringing a change in the French society. Understand? That is a what to call a class. Understand? So here we'll stop.